Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be going through the trade targets for round 20, in which there are quite a few that have come up, quite a few that I like, and quite a few that I'm not too keen on. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this video. So, Tom Stewart, as I brought him in, I hope I'd say that I like him, and I obviously do. I think that his last 4 weeks and this new role that he's in, as my computer is, I swear the frame's just dropped. Yep. But yeah, his new role right now is absolutely perfect for him, and yeah, he really just thrives in it. Playing on ball allows him to get the tackles up, as you see here. What's that? 15, 19, 26 in his last 5 games. That is an average of just over 5. But then he also gets the marks up, 28, 36, 41. That's just over 8 a game. So he's already averaging 13 non-disposal acts a game, which is kind of crazy. We said 8 is around the marker that we want. But then he's also contributing with 26, 26, 26. That's 78 plus 23, 101 plus 15. So that was 116 across 5 games. He's also averaging 23 touches. So 23 touches and 13 non-disposal acts a game is going to get him high totals. If we even look at before this, that's 19, so just about 5. That is 36 across 4, that's 9 a game. So that is basically 14. And then you get to this, which is 101, which is... So he's averaging in the new role, because I know that he moved into this role here for these 4 games, for the Essendon game onwards, because I know I'm pretty sure he moved halfway through this game. But from here onwards, in 4 games, he's averaged about 25 disposals and 14 non-disposal acts a game, which is just crazy. And that's why he's averaging, what's that, 130, 230, 355, 468. Divide that by 4 is a 117 in his last 4. That's kind of crazy, and that's massively top of the line. So yeah, obviously he's a good trade-in. Talked about Zach Taylor and the rookies. Keys, I did some little bit of research, like 5 or 10 minutes, just trying to figure out what's with Keys and why is he scoring so well recently. And if you look here, you look at his goals here, you see 10 goals for in his last 4. I don't think that's replicable for him. I don't think we've seen a run on him doing that well anyway, throughout the whole year. And he plays Hawks this year. Hawks, he scored 57 against last time out. And yes, obviously different sort of positions for those guys to be in, I think. Hawks are flying at the moment. I think that they were also sort of flying at, or building up momentum at that point in the time in round 12. So he's got that. Then you actually look at the matchups after that. You got Geelong, Western Bulldogs, Port, and Sydney. If we look at the DFS for this in general, we'll actually go to him in general here. You see here, his role doesn't really necessitate him actually scoring well. You see here, this exact role, if we line it up, it lines up directly for this 57 against the Hawks and a 1-2-9. These roles are pretty much bang on the exact, almost the exact same. You can see here with this 35, it's a similar-ish role. If not a better role, I would suggest, if you take out the CBAs that he actually attended. So I just think this was a sporadic couple games, because if you look at this 79, you would have thought 79, not really anything special, and he kicked 4 in that. So I'm just not too... I just don't think he's going to be that good. Then we look also at DFS. They have him listed as a key forward. Don't think he's a key forward. But Hawthorn, -7. -1 for a general forward, which I think he constitutes a general forward. And then -7.64 for a midfielder. So I wouldn't even be going for Adelaide midfielders. We look at inside mids anyway. You see Nick Dacos, they stopped. Jack Crisp, another left footer. Hayden Young, another left footer. They stopped the left footers, that's for sure. Ruben Jimmy, another left footer. Do they just not like left footers? Is that the go with them? Do they just... Jordan Dawson, again, they're another left footer, so they just don't like left footers. That's what it is. But I just don't think he generally scores well. Then we go to inside mids anyway. You got Hawthorn, Sydney, who he has coming up, who are negative across all 3 lines I would expect to see him in. Who else is here? Port Adelaide, who are -9, +1, and then -5, so negative across two of the lines out of the three. Then he also has, who does he have as well? He's got Geelong and Western Bulldogs. Let's look at them. Geelong, Western Bulldogs are negative in two of the lines, but two of the prominent lines, I would think. And then he's also got Geelong, who are positive in 3. So you're really buying him for Geelong matchup. And that's next week. So I just think he's 709k. I think the mistakes video, we said this is the exact sort of mistake that people will go for. I just don't think I'm ready to do this, especially when I need to finish off my side. But I think in general that he's going to be one that he's unique as well. So, and when do Adelaide play? Adelaide play later on in the last game of the round. So, like, he's not even like you can bench him and use that score as like a emergency, like a Sean Manor or a Lawson Humphreys or a Logan Evans that I think a lot of people will be. So I'm just wondering if Keys is actually that impactful. As he's more going to be the guy that you have to rely on in case stuff hits the fan, which it usually does across a game week when you have sort of 23, 24, when you have 24, 25 guys that can play on the field. And your emergency guys, and you're doing all that stuff. So yeah, I'm just not too keen on Keys. Treloar, I just missed it. As simple as that, I just missed it. I wouldn't be buying him this week though, because Sydney are renowned for being a horrific matchup. We saw what Dunkley did. We saw what Neil did. I think that Treloar will be a guy that if Rowbottom's back, he goes to him. There's also potentially Adams has worked on this tagging role, and he worked on tagging Neil, who's a very similar type of player to Adam Treloar. You've also got James Jordan, who hasn't actually been used in a tagging role as much recently, but I think he will be used on Bailey Dale. So, yeah, I just don't like this matchup at the moment for Adam Treloar, and I think next week we can relook at this with him, as he's got Melbourne next week, and Melbourne for inside mids are there. Then he's also got Adelaide, North, and GWS. If we go here, North -5, Adelaide are +6, and GWS are -3 in their last 10. Let's look at the last 5 as well, just so that we get a little bit of a different thing. You've got here Sydney -6, so just showing you that. North still -3, GWS getting a little bit better, and then Adelaide are around about the same, I would think. So yeah, does he have so Melbourne? Did we check Melbourne? Obviously don't want to see that ad. We're in Melbourne. Melbourne are +2. So I would just be waiting on Treloar just a fraction bit longer, as I don't know if Sydney are necessarily the greatest team to score against, because I know that McCluggett scored well with a 119, but you had Jared Berry score a 78, Ashcroft score a 77, Neil score a 69, and Dunkley score a 61. And I would suspect that the likes of Adam Treloar and Bont are sort of those two top mids that they'll target to try and slow down. So I don't expect him to necessarily score the greatest. And we can actually look at last time they played. Did they? Or no, they haven't played this year. They did score, and he scored a 94 on 30 touches. So just wait and watch that one, as I don't know if he'll necessarily score the greatest there. Dylan Moore, we saw him score a 92 last week against Collingwood. Do I expect him to score well against Adelaide? Let's look at Adelaide again quickly here for general forwards. I would suspect -11 in the last 5. Let's just see. Does that involve it? Surely that would involve an injury or something like that. Gresham, Menzies, Henry, Wilson. Man, this is just horrific. This is horrific viewing. Yeah, no, that's not that greatest, I would say. How do they manage wingers? Wingers +0. I just wouldn't go for him because that is a horrific matchup. So yeah, I wouldn't go for that. Dylan Moore, I would not go for Dylan Moore this week. Caleb Sarong, I really like this matchup, and it's probably one of the preferred trades for me. I'll just say here that I'm looking at either him or LDU. I know some people are jumping off of him, but you look at this inside mid, you got West Coast as the best matchup. Then he's got Essendon, Geelong, GWS, Port. Essendon, plus matchup. Geelong, they're also a plus matchup. GWS, as we said, minus 0 point, and did we say Essendon or did we say Port? And Port are minus 6 at the moment. Does that involve an injury or anything? Let's just see. Shea Bolton with a 50. Matt Rowell stinks anyway. Ed Richards with a 68. And Paddy Dow with he was a sub 36. So you take him out and that sort of lessens it by probably 1 or 2 anyway. So that would mean that they're probably, I would say, a minus 4 anyway, which isn't necessarily the worst. So I genuinely think that that he may have one of the best runs going into the latter part of the season as an inside mid. So I'd be jumping on him, even though these forms suggest not so. Because if you go into the actual transition points, Hawthorn, I'm pretty sure if we can also sort of see this in a way, inside mids, Hawthorn, the week before that he had Richmond where he just got tagged to the absolute bits. Where's Richmond here? Richmond, yeah, he just got tagged in that game. The week before that, Sydney, they're horrific for inside mids. Gold Coast, he got tagged in that game as well. By Miller, it might have been. And he's still putting up a 95 anyway. And then the Western Bulldogs, he put up an 80, and Western Bulldogs where are they? They're around just about even, and I believe he might have been put a tag on by like Libba or something in that game. So I think that Caleb Sarong has pointers here, and I think he genuinely could go large here. Against West Coast last time, he went 107 on 27 touches. So we'll see how he goes, especially because that was West Coast when they're actually in an upward trend. And I think they're generally down in the dumps at the moment. So we'll see if he can absolutely pile it on. And yeah, he's played Western Bulldogs twice this year, and he put up a combined total of 187, so 93 anyway. So not even that bad. So yeah, I think he can generally put up a massive score, and we'll just see how he goes. Dane Zorko against the Gold Coast Suns. If you don't have him, I'd be jumping on him. I think he's a good matchup this week. Gold Coast put 180, was it on them last time or whatever? What was it last time? 184 last time, 40 touches, 16 marks. I don't think they tag anyway, and I just think that he's coming off the Swans game where there was a potential tag and he went nuts. So I would just be looking at this and running with it, as I think I may even VC him. That's how good of a matchup I think this is. So yeah, just look at that matchup there. Romo coming up against Essendon. They'll probably go dual ruck, or potential to go dual ruck. So I would just wait and see. Did he go against them last time? 117. I mean, who are you actually trading him in for? Let's actually just check the outs. Who are they trading him in for? Oh, Tom DeConey. Is he necessarily the best ruck? Let's actually check this. Let's just quickly check this here. Season long, I think it is. The matchup that we want. Ruckman. Then we go here. We go to here. Wow, West Coast are apparently the best ruck. Then North... I'd honestly be going for... look at that. They have... Where is it? A plus 0.16. I'd be going for... Wow, that Gold Coast matchups to end the year are horrific. I'd be going for the likes of... And Tim English now is horrific again. Wow. So maybe I should almost be looking at trading them out. I'd be going for North. Look at that matchup to end the year. Geelong this week, which is a really good matchup. So I'd be looking at Tristan Cherry, to be honest with you, out of the ruck department, rather than the likes of Romo's 998k. Tristan Cherry is 956k. So there's no debate about not being able to afford Cherry over Marshall, because Marshall is more expensive. I'd be going Cherry over Marshall. But who's the second best ruck to go for? Probably actually is Marshall the second best ruck, I would say, in general. I mean, you've got Sydney this week. Yeah, I'd say that Marshall is probably the second best ruck, potentially, unless Max Gawn comes back this week, and then you could probably go for him. Sheasel, he's just too damn good. You can, if you don't have him, pick him up. Caleb Smith, don't know who is he. Is he just a dead guy? Played and got 50. Not really fancy relevant, I don't think at the moment. Whitfield, yes, if you don't have him, pick him up, as I don't think they'll tag him. Neil Bullen could, but I think they'll could he actually be tagged? He could actually be tagged this week by Neil Bullen, because I don't know if Neil Bullen can get to anyone in the midfield at at GWS, to be honest with you. Steele, he's back in form. He's one that I'm potentially looking at in the next little bit. I just need to look at inside midfielders. Let's see who has the best run home for inside mids. Gold Coast, Brisbane North, St Kilda do. But I'd be targeting, maybe last three, I'd be targeting the likes of Steele. Maybe not at the moment, but I think if you do have the cash over like a Sarong, I think him or Sarong, I'd probably still go Sarong. Tristan Cherry, we talked about. Manor. Woods. Woods a guy that I may target next week. He's sort of a winger, so for this projection here, wing defense / general forward, we'll look at both for St Kilda. Where is St Kilda here? Minus 0.49. They also have the... I've been looking at him in the last 4 weeks, especially last 3. And then you've got general forward. We'll just check that as well. St Kilda. And I've been looking at him in the last 3 to 4 weeks, to be honest. Next week, potentially, as an upgrade on like maybe a Jackson, or maybe just as another primo, as he does have dual position. So I think he is a genuine trade in the next little bit. I know his last 3, I don't suggest that. I think against the Swans, he just sucked against the Swans, but I think that was because with Liam Henry also being out, I think it generally also can help him that there's less wingers. I'd be looking at him and watching how he goes next week. Then Keenan Brown, he had a massive performance in the twos game, but I don't know if he'll necessarily be out. Be back in. Same with Jackson Binns. They both put up, I think, like 170 plus scores. I think, did Binns get like 190 or something dumb like that, or maybe even 200? It was honestly stupid. He put up 47 disposals and 3 goals. Gordon, let's just check the wingers for the wingers again for wing defense, and then we'll check also a little bit of on ball. Sydney minus 0.15, but he does have the Western Bulldogs. I don't mind that terribly too much. And then inside mid, we'll also just check for Sydney, and you'll see they are plus 0.5. I don't mind that actually. Especially, I may already have him, but you could target him last 3 as well. I think that would be a way to get Errol Gordon. Brayshaw, don't mind as well. Similar thought behind the likes of Sarong. The only problem with him is that he's going 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down recently, and he's not really getting that consistent big score. He's getting big scores, but they're 1 in every 2, so it's sort of a one. I don't know how to describe it, but I would just almost rather a Caleb Sarong where you're getting 90s plus out of him at least every week. But I mean, he's going 80, so it's not the end of the world, but maybe you just want a little bit more out of him in these down games, like a 90, 95, rather 90 or so, rather than these 80 scores. And then that's pretty much it that we're getting down to the low guys. And then quickly just checking the outs. Dawson's concussed, so that's why. Schoenmaker not really playing, so that's why. I need to move him on next week when I do my first sort of on-field upgrade, it looks like. De Koning, Sexton, Kruger, Dowling, Throlstrop. I think these 2 will be the ones that go for me. Hayden Young, Crisp, Ryan, Nankervis, Fisher. All of these guys make sense. Fisher sucks. Nankervis, he's out with something, is he? Or is he was just subbed out last week. I don't exactly remember what's wrong with him. Luke Ryan can't seem to gather form. Jack Crisp, we traded him out last week. And then Hayden Young also didn't really particularly score well. Sam Walsh also starting to get traded out. Has a really bad run coming up, doesn't he? Port is a bad one, and Hawks as well is a bad one for inside mids. So we'll see how he goes. You may be around 23, 24 traded. And then you've mostly got rookies here that people are jumping off of. And then Clayton Oliver, because some people still have him. He's just was a massive fail this year. And we'll see what the position with Clayton Oliver is next year, as he genuinely could be really underpriced. And a full preseason, I wonder how he goes. And he could be one that, if he has the opening round, could be one that we look at and genuinely have him for 5 or 6 rounds. If he fails, then we pop off of him at the bye. If he doesn't, then we can have him for the whole year, and he could be one. He could be a game breaker next year, either way, for the good and for the bad. But anyway, that pretty much is the video there, going through the trade targets for round 20, and I will see you guys tomorrow for my I guess, team previews for round 20, as well as going through my horrific Supercoach team, in which I'm probably just going to almost just let it play out as it is, not really have any correlation to fantasy anymore, as my team sucks. I just have too many guys that are just too many fake primos, I guess, in the end. With no trades left, it is what it is at the end, but it was a massive learning experience on that. So I guess I will talk through more about that when we get to that Supercoach video tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in those videos. Bye, guys.